Are we live?
We're live. Okay. And how do I share him so he's on there? Go here and go here. And now we're both on. All right.
Click the one in the middle.
This one here.
That one there. There you go.
All right, guys. We are live. And this is Ugly Old Goat. Got a special session here, guys. Had a really nice trip through the Baja. Got wrecked on my racer and just ready to get back in the saddle. I came back and did a little bit of study, and you know what? The best thing out there right now is buying gold. It's probably the best thing I've seen in. I'm almost as excited as the first time I saw Bitcoin under $100. And the reason for that is I used to be a fairly decent gold trader. I actually won some IMF auctions back in the day in the late 70s and early 90s, and I traded gold all the way through the 80s. And I independently came up. With the seasonal, I just noticed the regularity of gold bottoming out in August, which is a very strong seasonal play, and there's reasons for that. The reason that it bottoms out is that the refiners like Engelhard and Johnson Matthey, that's when they would close their factories and clean up their factories and retool, usually for about 2 weeks. And a lot of times they'll start in the 1st of August and be done by the middle of the month, and some start in the middle of the month. But by the end of the month, everybody's back in full gear, preparing for the holiday rush. And so there's a very strong seasonal tendency for gold to make a bottom in August and then rally into the November period. This year, we have unique additional fundamentals, and that, of course, is this COVID virus bailout, and that we're just in a wash with a paper fiat. So, and plus the upcoming election. And unfortunately, we're all socialists now. You're either, you got to be a Trump socialist or, I guess, a Biden communist. That's about the only difference we have. And so it's really, I don't see any way around it fundamentally that we're either headed for, a controlled hyperinflation or runaway inflation. I hope that the only one that, has a prayer of controlling it would be Trump, without taking away all of our civil rights, which I think will happen if the Democrats win. So you've got all these factors coming into play. You're going to have a lot of people getting scared towards that election. Is Biden going to win? Is Trump going to win? And it probably doesn't make any difference. So you've got all these factors coming. Yeah, it probably doesn't matter who wins, because the cards have already been dealt. And what's been done is done, and we are living in a command economy, and we're going to face the consequences. So the fundamentals are there. The technical is there, guys. I'm not a TA guy. I already bought the gold. I'm taking a sizable position. I'll show you to you later. I already bought 500 ounces of gold. I'm backing it up. I started with just one Bitcoin. I haven't lost that much. I'm down about maybe a half a Bitcoin or three. I'm down a little bit now. I actually added to it, and it is a double down play, a goat stop play. If this thing goes down, we can make this bottom anytime during August. Have we made it? Good chance we have. That's why I established a position. Are we going to go down and make a low? I don't know. I don't know where the market's going. But if it does, I'm prepared to actually add to my position. I do think back there in the 80s, when I was a gold bug and in the business, I was a true believer in gold, and that the gold bugs back then, we were predicting, $3,000 gold. Well, guess what? It never happened. In fact, the gold has since that time, since gold peaked. Gold was never a decent investment from the 80s until 2000 and the year 2000, and with the advent of the World Tower event, World Trade Center collapse, gold then it that's when it reversed. If you saw that, it routed up and it sold back down because the wrong people were caught. And so that when that happens, they usually get it back down so they can reverse. And then we went to the bull market where we took it from basically $200 to almost $2,000, I think it was. So we've hit contract highs. Silver did not. Gold's the new bull market. Silver will not be, I don't think, for reasons we're not going to go into. But now I think a $6,000 gold is probably a very conservative play. Now I don't know if it's going to happen between now and November. It could. We play it one day at a time. But basically, the way I'm looking at it, with 500 ounces of gold, if I'm right on this play, that's basically $2 million. So I think that that's very possible. It's a long-term position trade. Very possible that we could go and have that kind of a bull market. I do think that the 2,000 barrier now on gold is very much like the 1,000 barrier was on Bitcoin. And so I think that gold is very much in the same situation now where Bitcoin was back in late 2016 and early 2017. And so of all the markets right now, of any position to put on, and right now, the difficulty I have with Bitcoin is not Bitcoin. I'm a big Bitcoin believer. I got my hodl, but the way to play this is I was looking for a place. Well, where can I buy gold, on a speculative derivative margin basis, and use my hodl as collateral. And so I actually asked you members out there, and a number of you replied, and I thank all of you guys for replying. Galilee sent me the link. I tried one of the other links. I had a problem setting it up. This one was much easier. And then he also explained it to me. So we have put the link. He actually wrote a tutorial this morning, basically what he taught me. And so I wanted to share that with you. You should already have it. Hopefully you've already opened an account or you're in the process of it. And so I wanted to invite Galilee to answer any of your questions about doing this. I do have one question. Is could we get a gold fractional reserve system? Yes, I think we would very much could, but we're not going to address that this show. I want to just address this seasonal move in gold that I think has a great potential. Now, what I really want to do is give you the caveat, and the number one caveat is I don't know diddle about this exchange. I trust BitMEX and I've been trading it, but I just got on this thing. Hey, I'm not using my referral code because I just learned it myself. I don't claim to even know how, and I don't teach you how to learn BitMEX because I'm not a good teacher, okay? But Galilee did, and he tutored me, taught me. I put on a position, and so Galilee, you want to take over for me? You want to introduce yourself? Also, Galilee, if you have any, I think we have you. Yeah, if you have any referrals that you want, I think we already referred to you on the little tutorial that you wrote. Hopefully that's sufficient. But I'll let you take it from there and explain how we set up an account on what's the name of it?
Evolve Markets.
Evolve Markets. So take it from there. Evolve Markets. If you want to set up and buy some gold derivatives using your Bitcoin, this, again, I haven't checked out all the options, but this one certainly was the easiest one. And Galilee has checked out the other options, at least two other options, and found this one to be the best. And I have every reason to think that that is the case. So I'll let you take it from there. How do we open an account?
All right. Yeah, sounds good. First, I want to preface by saying that obviously I've experience with this exchange, but it's an exchange. I don't know the people behind it. There's a big risk that they might run away at some point. I don't know. So everybody should make that risk assessment for themselves. I'm obviously not vouching for that exchange. I've used it now for 6-7 months, and I have done a number of deposits and withdrawal, but never had a problem. So from that end, it really works. I did some research on all the other exchanges. There's a bunch of, I would call them, like, probably Jesse Livermore would call them bucket shops. Like just Bitcoin collateral exchanges that are basically all the same. They have different fee structures, a little different interface. Evolve Markets for the metals market is the one with the best swap rates and the cheapest fees overall. And I checked out their Twitter, and people seem like pretty much, you know, Bitcoiners. So that was a plus too. So I went with that, and I think it's a good option. So I'm gonna share my screen, and then we can go through setting up an account, host disabled participant screen sharing. So you have to give me the right to do that, Ugly. Or Eddie, you have to give me the right to share my screen.
Oh, where do I go?
There.
Here,
Yeah, I think so. No,
Okay.
Go back. Oh, crap.
here,
Close it first.
okay. Here, I'll let you do it, 'cause
Yeah,
I really,
It's the first time we're doing it, so.
yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Okay.
There we go.
Allow, record.
Make host, but that way you allow
Uh,
around.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him the host. and
Okay,
then
we're
he
gonna make you a host, so you
and
can,
then
I
he
think
can
then
give it
you can
back to
share
me.
this. Okay, and then give it back to us. I guess
Yeah.
that's what we need to do.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
All
Okay,
right.
there you go. Try it now.
cool. All right. Yeah. Should work. Do you guys see it?
Oh, guys, while you're doing that, I'll share a little story. If you haven't checked out the Twitter, I had pretty good exchange today with ties
Yeah,
in.
we are viewing.
Okay,
Oh, there you
we
go. There you
I'll
go.
talk
You
about
see
it
it?
later. Take it over.
Yeah,
Gallon.
go ahead.
Okay, cool. So here's the guide that I just wrote up. Ugly posted it in the group. There you get the referral link and the setup. It's pretty straightforward, like with any other exchange. Just click the
Please
link and
set
then
it.
register.
Please set it up
Log
with
into your
Gallon.
account. Set up 2FA if you want that.
Yeah, please set it up with
Yeah, if you
Galileo.
use this,
because
then
he's
I
done-
get 20% of your commissions. Yeah, that will be very much appreciated. And then once you deposit it, one thing that I do recommend you guys do is change the account to netting instead of hedging. And I can show you how to do that really quick. So this is a demo account here. You have to click on the little 3 stripes and then go to accounts and funds, go to your live account and then to settings and then click here, netting instead of hedging. Netting puts all your different orders into one position, like you're used to it from BitMEX. If you have hedging, every single order is treated separately, which gets a little confusing and all over the place. So I do recommend this. You have to do this before you put in any orders on the exchange. Otherwise, it doesn't allow for that. So once you put in netting, you're pretty much good to go. You can deposit funds into your live accounts by clicking withdrawal, putting deposit here. And then you're good to go. I think the important things to know. Now it's not loading on my end, but that's okay. We don't need that. The important thing to know is contract specification, which basically is one of the contracts. The XAU XIU USD is you see that here on the bottom right is 100 ounces. So you can buy one contract that valued for or gives you exposure to 100 ounces. You can go as low as 0.01, and then you get exposure to 1 ounce of gold. There are a couple questions. Maybe you just want to go through them really quick to see. Say again?
Yeah, that's a total of 10 ounces, right? 0.1.
Say again, Ugly?
Yeah, the 0.1 would be the equivalent.
Yeah, 0.1 would be what this is.
Yeah.
Exactly. The minimum is 1 ounce, which is 0.01.
Oh, you can do a minimum of 1 ounce. Okay, guys. So, I mean, any size trader can do this. You know, and just remember, don't put any more on that exchange than you're willing to lose, because it's not just, I mean, the trade may fall to crap too and be a worthless trade. But there's also a huge exchange risk anytime you're on one of these Bitcoin platforms. So you have to take don't trade with anything that you're not willing to completely lose. Okay.
Yeah, that's, I think, a very good advice. And so if we go to that contract, if you go to the gold contract, you do that by typing that in here. And then the question I got a couple times is, how do you place limit orders, which is not super intuitive. So let me show you. There's 3 different ways to do that. One is through this toolbar here. You can just click, say, buy, and then we'll see a window pop up that gives you the ability to put in a limit order. You put in the price here, the amount here, and then just press yes. I can do that because this is, let's see, let's put it below spot, and then just buy. And it puts
Yeah, just remember, guys, when you
Another
buy,
unique way to do that.
yeah, when you sell, you use bid. So that's the way it works.
Yes. And if you, there's a neat way to do that on this exchange where you can actually click the chart, right click the chart, and then go to trading and then sell, for example, here. And then it puts that exactly at that spot where you click the chart, which
really?
is pretty neat. I
Now,
find.
is that
You can
the
also
mega?
drag and drop those.
Okay. Is that the mega system,
Yeah.
or their
Say
standard
again.
platform? Is that their mega trading platform, or just their standard?
This is their
rate?
standard.
Okay.
That's their standard system. You brought up the MetaTrader, which is a different interface, which you can access here. If you click those 3 stripes, you go to MetaTrader, and then you can go to the Web Trader,
I don't need
which
it,
is
so.
a very similar.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, just so
You
you know,
like
you
it?
can also download it.
Do you
It's
like
okay.
it?
It's actually fast. It's faster than the Web Trader. So sometimes I use it.
Right.
If, as you see, the Web Trader has some problems sometimes to load if the internet connection is not that good.
Okay.
So the MetaTrader is much better for that. That's what I found. So you can do that on both. You can always click the chart, go trading, buy, sell. Then what you can also do is drag and drop these, and then click modify, and it changes the order actually on the chart, which is pretty cool. You can do that on BitMEX. And then the last way to buy or sell is to click here on this depth of market structure. You can click a price and you can get that same window, and you can say sell. So that's how you put in limit orders.
Cool.
Then the big difficulty that a lot of people have found, me included, is to know your liquidation price, which is not displayed by the exchange itself. So let's mark it by, just to see that. You can mark it by 1. I don't know, it's stopped working again. Let's see, let's go to MetaTrader instead. I have to set a password for that. I can't do that. Well, you have to wait a second.
All right.
Anyway, to get the liquidation price, you basically have to do the math yourself. I put the formula in here. One of the guys in the group put up a spreadsheet to calculate it. This is basically the formula. The important part is that obviously your margin balance changes because your collateral is USD. So that's an added, like a three-dimensional trade, because you also have to keep track of the Bitcoin price in order to be sure that you have enough margin on the account. But the important part to see, did I buy one? No.
Yeah, so a drop in the price of Bitcoin is going to lower your collateral, guys. You need to kind of know what's going on here.
Exactly. And the important part, what you want to look at, is your balance, which is basically how much Bitcoin you have on the exchange settled, right? And your profit or loss in this case. So whatever, I had 1 Bitcoin on here, the equity, which is changing always, right? This is stable, which is the 1 Bitcoin minus the fees that I just paid, and the equity is fluctuating with my profit. And so equity is balance minus profit. So if profit drops to balance, I get liquidated. It's basically a cross margin account on BitMEX, or it's similar to that.
If equity drops to
And,
what?
So the equity, you see the equity is always fluctuating with the profit, right?
Yes.
You see that? So the formula is basically equity equals balance plus minus profit.
Okay.
So if the profit, basically, if the profit goes to -1 Bitcoin, the equity is 0 and I get liquidated.
Okay.
And the balance is in Bitcoin. So what was the name you had? That was one person who had the problem, had questions. Yeah, Mr. Person. Mr. Person. So I think the thing that you haven't really fully grasped yet is that you have exposure to the gold price and your collateral is in Bitcoin. Now, the collateral is stable in its amount in Bitcoin, and the settlement only happens if you close it. So if I close this trade, the trade settles in Bitcoin into your equity. Before that, it's basically only it's unrealized profit or loss, and you have to think in unrealized profit and loss and in your equity and in your balance. And if those become the same or 0, basically, if your profit becomes your balance, then you get liquidated. Yeah. It's a little confusing, I understand, but it's really not that complicated. Maybe just try out with one contract and see those numbers fluctuate, and then you get a grasp of it. The margin, free margin, and margin level, I don't pay attention to. It's only these 3. All right.
Okay. And then we probably need to outline the funding. Now, we did a little study on it. Definitely did some studies on it, and the funding is very on this exchange is far better than anything else that he's found out there, and it does seem to be very much in line or favorable to futures. The only difference is that it can change. You don't know what it's going to be in the future, so you do need to understand. And it's not as sophisticated as BitMEX. BitMEX are really the masters at this because they actually have the players themselves benefit or be penalized from the funding. In this case, the exchange itself is taking that risk. So it is kind of a bucket shop, and they're charging funding on both ends, and they're keeping it for the house because they are taking that risk, that added risk. I mean, I get it. I wish they would set it up more like BitMEX, but I say BitMEX is so far ahead of everybody else that everybody else is going to have a hard time ever catching up with them. So that's my view. So
yeah,
it's just you just need to bear in mind that you're going to be paying, like I've been paying about my position. I'm paying about $25 to $30 a day. I had 400 on. I have 500 on, and if the market drops, I'll probably pick up another 500 ounces of gold. So I've got, basically $1 million of gold with collateralized with a small amount of Bitcoin. I only initially put up 1 Bitcoin. I hope I don't get challenged on that amount. I did add 2 more this morning because I recognize that we could go down and check out that low. And before this show, I actually sending another 2 Bitcoin. I didn't want to pay the high rate, so I don't know if it's gotten there or not. But I'm actually risking 5 Bitcoin on this, and I'm going to kind of play it till the end of the month. It should start by the 1st of September. The move should really get going. Should start happening before the end of the month, but sometimes it doesn't happen until the 1st of September. So again. You also have to bear in mind that contra-seasonal moves are very violent the other way. I did do a little study on Bitcoin, and you can do your own seasonal studies. Just go back and look at long-term charts and do your own calculations. That's how I figured out the gold seasonal, and other people have seen it too. So I'm not alone, but I discovered that thing way back in the early 1980s. And learned it. So in Bitcoin, I've kind of found in July, there tends to be a July break. So that's why I did liquidate there in July, and I doubled down when I saw it wasn't breaking. I went ahead and doubled down. and turn that 400,000 Bitcoin into almost $1 million dollars in Bitcoin. Only mistake I did is I sold the Ethereum. But anyway, so this is a great low risk trade with a huge potential. That's what you look for. It's not technical. Use your technical tools to enter it. This is a seasonal fundamental play. And so that's why I'm approaching it. And again, there's a huge, if you decide to do this, there is an exchange risk that we just both, Galilee and I, both want to make you all aware of. So that's the big. Anything else you want to help us out with? Do you have anything more to say about the funding?
Yeah, let's maybe walk through it real quick so it's pretty clear. Here in the specification, it says the swap long is $6.5. That's changing daily, and it's charged at midnight UTC +3. So if you hold your position at UTC +3 at midnight, it's basically a rollover rate that gets charged per contract. So if you hold one contract, it gets charged $6.50 on your account. On Wednesday, it's charged 3 times because for whatever reason, I don't know why they chose Wednesday, but they charge you for the weekend. So they charge you for Saturday and Sunday to roll it over from Friday.
Do you know what the times the Wednesday charges are?
Yeah, it's always at midnight UTC +3. You see that here. So I don't know what that is for you, Ugly, but
I don't need. I'll look it up.
That.
But so
you see the time here. So it's coming up in 1 hour. So you can just in 1 hour for everybody.
Okay. All right. Now, how about on the day when they charge it 3 times? Just they charge it just once and it's 3 times the amount, or what's the deal on that? Or do they charge it 3 times? Okay.
No, it's the same time. They just charged 3 times the amount.
Okay. So that everybody's playing that. You can be playing a little game if you want. I wouldn't. Should not be a decision-making process, but though I'm sure there's a little game. Everybody's trying to do a little quick day trade to not have to pay those fees, but. This is a long-term position. Yeah, so that's something that you should at least be aware of. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm on Pacific time, guys, so you need to adjust it accordingly. It's 1 o'clock here, so you need to adjust your own.
Yeah, so we did a calculation on how much it actually is, and I think it's fairly low. It's 0.0035%. So annualized, that's around 1.2%. And I think actually the futures contracts that you showed me, Ugly.
Yeah, they're more. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, the futures contracts are actually more expensive than trading here. So
I agree. I saw it.
Pretty good. And there's the other exchanges had like 4 or 5 times more.
Yeah. And I want to thank you for the work you've done. You're obviously very knowledgeable and you know your way around this exchange. So it's worth it, guys. If you want to do this, please use Galileo's referral code, because that's the only benefit he gets from it. He's put a lot of work into this, and it's helped me tremendously. So
yeah, and if you have any questions, just reach out to me on Telegram, and I'll continue to update that guide and put all the FAQs in there so we can get a good knowledge base and learn from each other.
Well, put me back as the host, and then I'll share my position that I actually put on, and we can go through that so you can see it again, and I'll share my BitMEX account, and then we can call it a day.
Sounds good. I'll do that right now. Yes.
Any comment on the KYC initiative? No, I'm already KYC'd. Again, I can't trade there because I'm a U.S. citizen. So my wife trades there. I don't. And, we pay taxes every year. We're not, I'm not sitting here trying to evade taxes. I do avoid them. It's perfectly legal, folks, to avoid taxes. It's not legal to evade them. So, here's that. Can we share that chart?
Yeah.
I put this in the newsletter, but this is a seasonal that I found that actually shows exactly what I found. And that is there's a very strong seasonal from the summer, particularly August, into the winter for the market to, see who this is. I'm not worried about it. Okay. All right. So anyway, there's the seasonal, very strong seasonal there. If you look from August until actually the end of the year, this, again, there'll probably be a lot of FOMO coming into the election. And, if Trump's elected, then probably gold will peak out for a while. And who knows what'll happen if Biden's elected. But it's kind of, you can almost imagine the FOMO that's going to be happening as the gold price rises. If we break out over 2000, it's going to be pretty much like, I think it's very similar to the move in Bitcoin that we had at the end of 2016 and beginning of 2017. So to me, this is where it's at. I will also screenshot. I can go to anything on this page now. Okay. So we'll go briefly. I'll go to the BitMEX account, see where that is. If you notice, I sold a little bit of Ethereum up there. My account, I was at 1.8. I don't have much on. I'm not looking to do much. You got to be bullish this thing. Looks like I just got paid some funding, and funding started all over again. So I sold a little bit of Ethereum at 443. Looks like and I got an order in there to sell a little bit more at 451, and I'm going to trim Bitcoin too if we get the rally. So we'll see what happens there. So let me go to my position, and here we are. Okay, if you see, I started this account with 1 Bitcoin, and I actually one time I was up almost full Bitcoin. I trimmed up there, but I didn't turn it around or anything because I am a position trader. So if you see, I'm at a net loss. I've lost a third of a Bitcoin, and I actually did trim and take it. My balance is my equity is 2.8, so I'm not down that much. It looks like I'm down about 2.5 because this shows my profit on the position, I believe. Am I correct on that, Galilee?
Yeah, that's correct. The profit is on the position.
So here's I did send, I sent 2 Bitcoin on the exchange earlier today because I know I don't want it to go down here to these lows and then I get stopped out and I can see it reverse. And so I teach you guys goat stops. I do have the equity to trade if I want to and see what I consider to be a very good trade. I consider this to be just about as good as they come. So therefore, I did send, if it doesn't get there on time, I'll send it, and it starts to drop, I have to send it another 2. But basically, I'm sending another 2 in here because if we go back down to these lows under 1900, I will be a buyer down there. I don't see this thing. If we can test the low. Now, the other thing that I will say is this. Gold very rarely double bottoms. So gold, again, I'm a student of gold. I've traded a lot of gold, guys, and it usually V bottoms. Silver does double bottom. You can almost always go for the double bottom on silver. Also, if you notice too, if you look at the silver chart, which I'm not going to pull up, but if you go to silver and look at that, you will see that it took out last week's lows without taking out 2-week lows. Which, as did the same thing happened, on some of your shit coins, but not with Bitcoin and not with Ethereum, but all of your other shit coins, your Litecoin, your Bcash, Ptrash, and XRP and all that, they took out last week's lows and then they rallied from there. So that's why I don't think that Bitcoin will test the lows that we had this week again. I think it had that chance and didn't. That's why I'm lightly long. But I don't like the fact that this is a shitcoin rally, and I think we have a very terrifying event coming. I think we got to clean all the altcoins people's whistles. Oh, I was going to mention too, I just had a minor tweet storm with my friend Tyson, who I really like the guy. He did more time in prison than I did, but he really doesn't understand sound money. He's made a fortune in the altcoin market, but he also promotes them, because they can't rally without a pump. So, I mean, I get it. And we just, it's really a matter of values. I mean, he wants to be, apparently, he manages 7 figures of funds on the crypto world. Hey, I don't do that. Don't want to do it. I trade for myself. You guys see my track record. I teach you different. I don't want you to, my goal is not to become have the biggest uh, gravestone in the cemetery. I've got a very lovely wife and family. I want to teach you other business interests. And my goal is not in that direction. In fact, I sent Ty my article on position trading, which I, kind of outlined. That's the article that has the skull with the bullet in it. And one of the legendary TA traders is Jesse Livermore, who ended his life, after basically getting completely ruined in the market and never could make it back and basically, killed himself in despair. So we don't want you to go that way at all. So it's too much. I have fun doing this, guys. Lots of fun. And I want you, it needs to be fun for you too. So you'll see there, that's my position. Anything else that we can show them from my position that might be useful, Galilee?
No, not really. I think it's pretty straightforward. And if there's any questions, just shoot me a message and we can hash it out there. And yeah, I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
From my
And
end.
so, yeah, and the thing, if this thing goes up, it should start up by the end of the month or the first part of September. And, it to me, it's just this is the play in gold that you wait for. And there's 3 principles that I teach all of you guys. And again, you need to have discipline. You need to have patience. And so we've had patience on this gold trade. I mean, I've been looking at it, it's been in the back of my head. I was saying, well, let's see what, and I saw the breakout at the first of the month. I said, I'm not going to buy that breakout. Now we had the sell off. Now I'm interested. I didn't do a very good job, guys. You can all get in cheaper than me. If you look at my price, I'm at 19.50, and we're almost $8 below that now. So, if you want to get in on this thing, go ahead and do it. I'm willing to risk it down to 1800, and that's basically why I'm putting more. I hate taking that big of an exchange risk, but I also I really do like this trade, and it's a long term thing. I kind of would like to have a feather in my cap to show to turn 500 ounces of gold or basically. I think I could have done it with 1 Bitcoin. Then it'd have been a legend. Now I've got 3. I don't think I needed to add any more, but I'm going to do it just to be safe. So I'm risking an exchange risk of 5 Bitcoin, or about $55,000. And if it goes to 6,000, guess what? That's $2 million, guys. So and you can do that. You guys are as good or better traders than I am, and I'm just teaching you the principles of trading. I'm not the TA guy. I'm the equity app guy. I'm the guy that's going to teach you to manage your equity. And then once you do that, you can trade up a storm and be a far better trader than ugly old goat is or has been or ever will be. And that's what's so exciting about Flip Flop Ron. We're going to start doing a regular show because we have very interesting past backgrounds. We think we both have a lot that we can pass on. And we enjoy doing it. We have a lot of fun together. And hopefully you're having fun with me trading. So, okay, what if Tom Days is wrong about alts? The market doesn't care about his opinion. I agree completely. Will you keep short alts? Even well, Tone could be wrong about the alts. Okay, and he looked at it from he knows a little bit more about the back end of Bitcoin than I do. I don't claim to know that at all, but I do claim to know the economics. And remember, I lived it long before everything started. I actually had my own private money system and did 11 years in prison because of it. So if Tone is wrong about the alts, then we're probably wrong about Bitcoin completely. And if you want to know the reason for that, go to the Medium article. Let's see if I can find it that I wrote. Why Bitcoin is the standard according to F.A. Hayek. And you know what, guys, I have a lot of sympathy for the people in the altcoins. They consider I'm a hater. I don't hate them, okay? I love Tizen, you know? I'm not a hater, you know? I have a real problem with Roger Ver because it's bait and switch. I don't have a problem if you trade the Bitcoin of the altcoins. I trade them. You can go long term. I wish I had gone long Ethereum. I don't have a problem going long Ethereum, but don't be equivalent. Don't say that it's better than Bitcoin. Don't be pumping it as though it's sound money. It is. Bitcoin's a speculation. Altcoins are complete craziness. So that's the difference. We're not saying you shouldn't trade, but I don't anymore. I'm completely out because I want to be focused. I want to get you guys, look, the next move in Bitcoin is going to be, there's two kinds of entrepreneurs. There's entrepreneurs that have Bitcoin, and there's the entrepreneurs that don't have Bitcoin. And the next move is, I just met a guy here, has a big business, right? We met, he's trying to load his boat in the ocean. So, you know what? I had this thing out. I was caught in all the currents yesterday, and he had really nice stuff. But he said, I need a captain. You're looking for a captain? Well, I have knew a captain that lived up on the hill. So, yeah, got in the razor, took him up on the hill, and he hired a captain. He's got a big old factory right three blocks away from me. So he wants to learn Bitcoin. This is what's going to make Bitcoin what it is, because it's sound money. If you look at the tweet storm that I just had with Tizen. I love Tizen. Great guy. Did more time in prison than me. I don't hate the guy. I don't hate what he does. I only have a problem when he says that things are better than Bitcoin. And I did have a problem. I don't know. I hope he didn't do it because I don't want to see anybody wrecked. But he literally a few weeks ago tweeted out that he sold all of his Bitcoin and he only has shit coins. Well, good luck, my friend. I've seen too many people that have been big shots that completely wiped out. I mean, and he kind of made a remark, well, when you get to be, I said, well, here's my tracker. And he laughed, well, you only trade 2 point some Bitcoin. I said, yeah, I'm only trading 2 Bitcoin right now. That's all I trade. But I took 2 and I put it into 62. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I can live on 62 Bitcoins every year or 30 Bitcoins. So, I can do that and have lots of fun doing it. And I don't have to worry about and he did recognize that you had to trade those shit coins. If you go look at those tweets, it was kind of a revelation. To trade those shit coins is, I have to have this team, I have to have all these log algorithms, and we have to know, and they have to pump it because they can't unload that shit without first getting other people to buy it so they can dump it. It is literally pump and dump, okay? Bitcoin is not pump and dump. It's a steady thing that maybe can be pumped for the short term and stuff, but not in the long run. But these altcoins all can be. So yeah, if we're wrong about the alts, we're wrong about Bitcoin. And if you go back to I was trading the alts. I just traded them successfully, by the way. But I can't recommend anybody go into them. You need to understand what sound money is. It's not when Hayek wrote competition, denationalization of money, and he talked about competition in currencies. He was not talking about competition of standards. That's what we have going on now. Everybody wants to be the new gold standard, the Bitcoin XRP standard. They're actually using that term because they realize they're not, so they have to kind of pick up on Saifedean identified it the Bitcoin standard, and then I distinguish between the Bitcoin and Bitcoin standard, because if the Bitcoin standard is basically we index things to Bitcoin. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be credit from entrepreneur. If you're a trusted entrepreneur, I'm going to do business with you until you're not trusted. You do the same limited risk with whoever you do business with. This is how banking is going to develop. Guys, you're going to be the hodlers are going to create the Bcash of tomorrow because you have people around you that are going to trust you. My mentor was E.C. Harwood. Hey, when I asked him, I said, Colonel Harwood, what would I first of all did a coin that memorialized his institution. I said, I don't want that on there. What saying can I put on your coin? And he said, for integrity, there is no substitute. Well, guys, there's nobody that's fallen more short on integrity than me in every part of my life. But that does not diminish the ideal or what we're working for and striving for. And so there is an element of redemption. There is an element. That's what we're striving for. And there's so much integrity for those who are on the Bitcoin standard. You guys have made me a better person because I'm sharing every trade with you. I'm responsible to you guys. And in that way, Bitcoin's going to change our entire morality. I just was talking, gosh, I have one a person, I can't mention their name because I'm really close to them, but they're going to develop schooling now because people are, these schools aren't going to open. And so do you realize what a huge thing that's going to be, that private education is going to start coming up through demand. We're going to have a lot of teachers that are in the teachers union, and they're going to find out, wow, I can't be a teacher now unless I can really perform, because you're going to see more tutors. You're going to see more homeschooling online. This is not a disaster that's happening. It's kind of all coming together at once. And so I'm excited. You guys are living in exciting times. I don't know how long I'm going to be around. I'm just going to pass on my life experiences, and hopefully you guys can learn from it. But yeah, I mean, let me see if I can. I'll find this article and share it with you. Am I screen sharing now? So I just need to. I'll just do it. Bitcoin is the standard. Is the standard. According to FAI. There it is. Okay, guys. And here is, okay, so I pop up number one. Okay, Bitcoin is the standard according to F.A. Hayek. And guys, if you haven't read this article, please do, because I go through, first of all, I introduce it with the article I did on Bcash and why Bcash is not Bitcoin Cash. Went through that and why Bitcoin maximalism is a non sequitur that was done by I can't remember the author of Knut. I can't pronounce his last name, but he's written a couple of really great books of review, and I recommend. So, and then we're hated because of what we're saying, and we just are. But here's what I found. I forgot all about this. This is an article that was written in April of 1966 or 1986, and Hayek, when he wrote Denationalization of Money, he recognized that what would emerge would be one standard, a private standard. He didn't know anything about decentralization and something that couldn't be the quantity couldn't be improved upon, it couldn't be increased, couldn't be inflated at all. But he was very familiar. He did understand that it would just be a standard that would be universally adopted, that would be over and on top of the fiat government systems. And we basically had no borders, guys. This is where, they can seize us, they can seize our body, they can torture us or monkey wrench us over the head, but they can't take it all. As long as we own the keys, and we are the only ones that have the knowledge of it. This is what it's all about. This is the great check, the great innovation of Bitcoin. And in my view, the innovation that's forgotten, the great banking and the innovation that was made over a century ago, was self-liquidating commercial paper. It was sound commercial banking, where, yes, the market itself can actually regulate the money supply, create money, not out of nothing, but representing other goods and services coming into the marketplace. collateralized fully by those notes and service. If you make a mistake on your collateralization, then as a banker, people are going to call, hey, you know what? We really don't want to have any balances on your bank anymore. Just send us the Bitcoin. But you're already seeing this going to emerge. And this is where, this is why I'm much different from some of the really hardcore Rothbardians. I'm not an anarcho-capitalist, guys. I'm not. Okay. I think there's fundamental flaws with it. I think if and a lot of thinkers that I hold in high regard agree. Milton Friedman didn't. When Rothbard came up with his article on the case for 100% gold standard, I read the thing and recognized immediately he's a gold socialist. If he could have his will, he would impose a gold standard. It's a fraud to have anything but 100% gold standard. Well, no, it's not. And that's what banking, that's how the art of commercial banking developed in the late 19th century and caused the greatest industrial revolution and time of peace the world has ever known. I mean, the only time of war was our Civil War, and until then, World War I, which came right after we adopted the Federal Reserve. But I don't want to get off too much. But I do think that I think you're going to see the Bitcoin dominance emerge its head. I think we're getting very close. That's my next move too. It's going to be a difficult play. It makes life harder on Bitcoin. It really does. But I do think it's going to happen. All right, I guess I'm done. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, and I don't really want to be doing homilies or anything like that. But yeah, if Tone Vays is wrong, if Jimmy Song is wrong, if I'm wrong, then most likely Bitcoin is going to fail, because if you can read this article, you'll see that we just want one standard to compete with the fiat money. That's all we need. And we have an incorruptible one now, or the most incorruptible one we've ever had. And so that's the innovation. And like I say, if it's better than Bitcoin, you don't have to tell us about it. You don't have to promote it. Just show us. Just have your coin be the longest chain with proof of work with a fixed supply, and you know what? You're the new standard. But if you're the new standard, you're not going to be cash. Yeah. Read my article on the gold and gold standard. Gold did not circulate as cash. You had gold coins, people held them. Most of the gold was held by banks, major financial institutions, governments, rich people. Poor people could own gold, but they were poor, so they couldn't really hold much of it, but they could hold maybe a $5 or $10. I think the lowest denomination was $5, $10, or $20 gold piece. $20 gold piece is over an ounce of gold. So right now, that's $2,000. Well, how many people in your life are liquid enough to own 1 ounce of gold? That's where you're all way ahead of the game, and we need to understand this is what's going to change society in I think very beneficial ways. But it's probably not going to be this generation. It's probably for your children and grandchildren. But we've got to lay the foundation now. So, at any rate, I'm done. Sorry I went on and on, but hey, I thank you so much, Galilee, for doing this with me. You got anything else you want to contribute?
No, I think everything has been said. Thank you very much for allowing me to share my ref link, and I'm happy to help anybody who has questions in the Telegram, and let's make a good gold trade.
Yeah, guys, and I do really appreciate really appreciate your contributions, and I've had other people that done artwork, and so I pay a little bonus. Anything that you do, I mean, I want you guys to be independent from me. You guys that have lifetime subscriptions, you're stuck with me for the rest of my life, not yours. And you guys that are thinking or want to subscribe to this, that's gone. We did that with the charter membership. I risked 10 Bitcoin to start this thing. I didn't know if it was going to fly or not, but I said, you know what, I want to do this, and it's paid for itself. We're fungible. I make my money off of another business and off of my trading. Everything that I get on Ugly Old Goat goes right back into building it, to us building teaching organization. And so I can show you how I trade. And that's the purpose of this. But I needed to change the business model to a yearly subscription because a one-time subscription just isn't a sound model. So you guys that are Charter members, you made the right decision. I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So if you're new, and I did send out a newsletter, you feel free, guys, to share that. This video will be on here so people can see, what we're all about. And then send them with your referral code. They'll get a 15% discount. And they only get a 1-year membership. They get all my trading history, just like you got on CSV files. They also get Victor Valaconia's equity app, which is, that's $250 that you charge. And to the public, he's going to charge more. It's going to go up to $350, but you get that free. And then there'll be a renewal every year, but it won't be anything close to the initial. The initial is still, I'm not changing the price because I give you the trading history. And guys, I mean, all you got to do is load it up. You can see, wow, he did this. He really does do it. And he does it consistently. And so can you. You guys can do this, but you're not going to do it. I mean, look how I got creamed by putting too much Ethereum on the wrong way. I mean, I lost 8 Bitcoin on that stupid trade. I mean, it worked only the point that, I had a lot of Bitcoin on, which more than made me money. So that was a perfect example of equity trading. I finally got out. I would have never gotten out had I not had the Ethereum on, but the Ethereum, finally just dropped my equities. I've had enough. I'm getting out of here. And like I say, the difference between now and 50 years ago, as I would have just thinking I was King Kong and okay, I just, pulled out 30 Bitcoin. I'm going to make 100 more by then. Now, maybe will do that. I don't know, but that's not my life goal anymore. It's really not. I'm just, and so I try to get you guys, everybody, you got to get your priorities straight. And if you do that, you'll be, you may not be a legendary trader, but you'll be a very successful one. And I personally don't ever want to be legendary. There's the pic. Now I actually made these gold coins, says denationalization of money. So I knew Frederick Hayek personally. I was actually went to the Mount Pelerin meeting back in 1980. He invited me, and it was I way beyond my pay grade, but I've been doing this a long time, guys. I'm not teaching it because I'm so smart, because I'm not, but I will teach you from experience. And I do have a wealth of experience. And I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes I made. Why should you make the same mistakes I made when you don't have to? So if you have ears to hear and eyes to see, I think I have something to offer you. All right. Are we done? We are done. So again, thank you, Galileo. And
Stop share.
Stop share. We're out of here. So long, guys. Let me do our little dance here first. We want to hodl, hodl, hodl. Save, save, save. Build it, build it, build it. Sound money.
Sound money.
Bye-bye, guys.